Hello and welcome to all of you astrology friends. This is a very short video just about the new moon in Pisces and what it is all about, and also for the 12 signs. So in what kind of area of your life is this happening for you? Now, the new moon in Pisces, which means that the sun will, every month we have a new moon, the sun and the moon together are very close together at 1 degree of Pisces. And that's going to happen round and about, depending on where you are in this world, on this planet, around the 19th, 20th of February. So that is happening there, beautiful, close to each other at 1 degree of Pisces. What does it mean? Now, new moons means in general endings and new beginnings. So it's planting of a little seed there so that there is something new with an intention that you can create there, so to speak. And of course, a lot of people will see around that time the efforts and you could say the things that they did before this new moon. And now they are going to see the efforts of this ending of this cycle and the beginning of a new one. I can't really explain it more than this, that it's really an ending and a new beginning. And why is that? Not only because this new moon is in the sign of Pisces, which is all about endings and new beginnings already. So the sign in itself has also that energy. So the new moon has that energy, but the sign of Pisces has in itself the energy of ending and you letting go, releasing, so that you can start all over again, you know, when it's springtime and all planets shift into Aries, that we have a new beginning. Now, the third testimony, you could say, that this is all about endings and new beginnings is because the rulership of the sign of Pisces, the ancient ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in the sign of Aries at the very beginning, around 7-8 degrees. So another sign that this has to do with something new. This has to do with new territory, pioneering, and the go-getter mentality for sure. So, of course, we can only start something when something else has ended. And now it's going to be very quick, those energies, those shifts of Pisces into Aries. Because, of course, when the moon will be into Pisces at the very beginning, it's going to do its whole path through the sign of Pisces, bumping into Neptune, which is very idealistic, and then bumping into Venus in Aries already, and also to Jupiter in Aries already. That is very nice energy. That is buoyant energy, that is enthusiastic energy, and that is also energy that shows us that 1 day or 2 days after, between 1 and 2 days after this new moon, so the 21st to 22nd, we already see the result of what we have released, that we have like new beginnings starting, that is really exciting. And really, because Jupiter is all about expansion, so it's all about seeing the bigger picture. And Aries is the most exciting sign of the zodiac. I mean, it's very, it is known for its childhood energy of when it's enthusiastic. It's really from the heart and it's very raw fire, like, yes, we go for it. So we are going to feel like that. Depending, of course, on the energy that we release, we will definitely, you see in the upcoming days after that, definitely have that good vibe energy. And that is something to look forward to. So the energy around, what are the other planets doing? So the energy around this, except for the fact that Pisces also has to do, of course, with empathy, with kindness, with creativity, all the good stuff. In a negative way, it's like escapism and lies and whatnot. But as we see this moon going so quickly towards positive other aspects, we can assume that, of course, we make a choice always. It's not just a planet doing something with us. I mean, I hope people start to understand that. That's not what astrology is for. It's what astrology is neutral. It's how we apply it. And this is a splendid energy to apply it in something new, in something that we are courageous for and that we want to go forwards with. And that we have the wherewithal to do it, but also the courage to do that, because it takes courage to go into new territories that we've never done before. That is what Aries is all about. It's breaking through. And it looks selfish, but it's not always. Anyway, so that is the flavor. Of course, what are the other planets doing, except for this beautiful conjunction that after this new moon is occurring, which is the moon with Venus, with Jupiter, which is all very lovely and a very kind and heartful energy. Definitely in a very spiritual sign like Aries. It is a spiritual sign, although it is a bit raw and rough. It is quite full of spirit. And but at the same time, before all this is happening, the moon needs to cross to Saturn. So therefore, it's a typical version of there is something that we need to let go of that has to do with emotions, moon, Saturn, that has to do with old patterns, but that are no longer suiting us. So the sun will have passed Saturn already, and now the moon is like finishing up, also passing Saturn, and then it goes into Pisces together with the moon, and the release comes. So it has to do with patterns. Whenever you see a moon Saturn, that has to do a lot with structure. It has to do a lot with patterns. And of course, in Aquarius, I talked about that in other videos. Moon Saturn in Aquarius has to do a lot with patterns around tolerance and around accepting equality, that we all are all the same. I mean, in essence, but definitely not in form. So it's all about that. But let's have a look at this. So it's a bit like in a disciplined, structured way, we see it, we see what's not longer suiting it, we're letting go, and then we will find new life, basically. So it's a very interesting and symbolic new moon. Very quickly, because I don't want to make these videos long, because this is such a beautiful and very, I think, and I hope I convey it in a good way, but I think a very clear message. You don't have to mess around too much. Let's just respect the Aries energy as well that we are having with its rulership, Jupiter there in Aries as well. And Neptune, the modern rulership, is in Pisces. So this is all about empathy and understanding for sure as well. So Aries people, this is the passing and the patterns that we need to let go of that are no longer working for us. Happens in the 11th house, the moon Saturn there. So it's all about letting go of patterns with friends that are no longer suiting. I talked about this in the Saturn video, by the way. I'll put a link below, what it all means. And then this new moon occurs in your 12th house. This is a very symbolic releasing of old patterns that are no longer suiting you. And then bang, Jupiter in your first house, the moon, Venus, Jupiter in your first house, with Chiron there as well, shows that you are healed. So a lot of Aries people are going to get that healing. That only is available when you go through that pain and when you release what is no longer yours. So these patterns might have to do that you picked up some patterns of friends that are no longer suiting you, or you picked up some you could say things that you wanted for the future that are no longer you, and you have to release that. So the best thing I can think about for you is really to withdraw yourself a little bit, not in a lonely way, but to do things by your own, and where you can have some relaxing time, whatever that means to you. You know, Pisces is all about water element. So you could be having a nice, maybe a nice bath, or, you know, go for a swim, or whatever that is that makes you feel relaxed. And so that you can really be peaceful with all those patterns that are no longer suiting you. So very lovely energy, because when you do that in a big way, you are going to be so enthusiastic about basically yourself, but also your path in life. That is going to be something new there. That is going to be unraveled already around the 21st, 22nd of February and onwards. Taurians, this structure thing that I'm talking about for you is happening in your 10th house. So there could be some changes, some patterns that you need to let go of that relates to parents, your relationship with your parents, or your relationship with your work. There needs to be something that you need to let go of in order for you to kind of go to the new stuff. And this Pisces new moon is in your 11th house. So it is all about this release and this new beginning in the friendship zone and also in the zone of your goals, which fits well with the Saturnial energy. It's almost like a lot of Taurans will no longer do something when it considers their work, the patterns that they're doing, the habits that they're doing. They will have to let go of some of them, which is going to be hard because it's Saturn. But ultimately, it's going to give them this new hope for life, because the 11th house, where the new moon is new hope. And it's a release of that, of old goals that are no longer suiting you. It might be even of old friends, or friends that you've been knowing for a long time, that you say they no longer are suiting me. And it's not about cutting the cords. It's about, look, I'm going to release that, and I'm so that I can have a new start where this Aries energy is, which is your 12th house. So a new start for letting go a little bit more, go with the flow a little bit more in life, and have more connection with your unconsciousness. And that is so beautiful, and you can get really enthusiastic because you understand it, that you have some blind spots that you've looked right into the face now, that you see, that is my blind spot. And it has to do with boundaries, that you're saying, I'm no longer going to do that. And remember, it's only for a couple of months that there's going to be a lot of energy in your sign. So you are preparing yourself for really shining and getting all those batteries reloaded. So now it starts. Now it starts to detach yourself from patterns that are definitely no longer suiting you. Cancerians, the Saturnial energy is in your 8th house. So that is the house of depth, of intimacy. And it could have been that there are some hard patterns there that you had to deal with that are not so much fun, especially in relationships, but that you, if you take that responsibility of looking at it, of looking at the past, your part of it, I mean, you can't change other people anyways, but your part of the deal, you could say, if you take that responsibility, you can really get that upgrade in how you share your resources with other people. Also on a financial level, that could be that last thing that you need to do, and that it will improve the healthiness of the resources that you share with someone else. But it's a lot about being truthful there, for sure. And if you do that, there is an ending and a new beginning in your 9th house. And that has to do with travel. It has to do with, if it's not travel, it's learning, teaching. So some of you will be ending a study or beginning a study. And so a certain way of traveling that you don't want to do anymore, that you're going to do anew. It could be that as well. Whatever it is, it has to do also with your mindset. So it's an old mindset that you need to release, that is no longer working for you. And if you do that the right way, my goodness me, you're going to have some chances there to explore and expand your career in a new way. And if it's not your career, it's your understanding and your connection with parents. So a very important consequence of this new moon for you, for sure. Leos, the Saturnial vibes are happening in your 7th house. So this is all about relationships. Even if you are single, there's something that you still need to, for the last time, really, really understand very well. before Saturn leaves that house of your relationship. So hopefully you have understood what another person, if you are in a relationship, what another person brings to the table, and also what you can bring to the table. And now it's up to those last pieces of understanding and of being real with each other, and so that you can get that upgrade of maturity in relationships. That's what Saturn in the 7th is all about. Now, also, it could mean business partnerships as well. And if you are single, it can mean your understanding, your attitude towards your relationships that you want to have, even if you don't have them at the moment. What can you, it's that kind of list that you're making, not only of, I want a tall guy, I want a blonde woman, I want this, I want that, but what can you do? What can you offer? And it has that a connection with yourself, those kind of things that you've been wanting in other people, but also what other people wanted from you. And then this new moon happens in your 8th house, which is definitely a rebirth, and is a very transformative house. It's like a new understanding of self on a deep psychological level. On another level, it could have to do with finances, so that there's conclusion there. There is something that it's wrapping up, and that has, like you could say, some sort of a fresh new beginning for you that is occurring there. Actually, what it is all about is your 9th house. And that is your view upon life and what you think about life. Because the 9th house is all about, it's a very fiery house for you, because you are a Leo, and where Venus is, where the moon will be after this new moon, and where Jupiter is in Chiron. So there is so much exciting, enthusiastic energy possible and available in your 9th house, which is all about how you view you, but also the world. So it's about the glasses that you put on. Are they going to be black? Or are they going to be pink? Or are they going to be of some neutral color? And so you decide what pair of glasses you are going to wear. So it's definitely a very enthusiastic opportunity to see things bigger, to have a better connection with the divine, to have more trust in the universe, to travel, to study, to learn, to teach, all of that good stuff. Virgos, this eternal vibe is all in your 6th house, so it's definitely a wrapping up of the structures, and this is your house, by the way. So being a bit original, Aquarius, in the structures or the new structures that you've been having in your life. I mean, not only work habits, but also habits that have to do with your health. So it's that last call that has all to do with, do you have some good discipline when it comes to your exercises, or when it comes to the sports that you are doing in life, the way that you eat, and all of that stuff that normally Virgos are very interested in. So if you are doing that, you definitely are ready for a release and a new beginning in your relationships. This is definitely, for the ones who are single, an opportunity for a new beginning, for someone new crossing your path, for sure. And definitely having really, really fun then when it comes to the intimacy part, because all that good stuff is happening in the 8th house, which is the house of intimacy. It's the house of I see you, you see me, sexually, psychologically, emotionally, all those good things of the 8th house. So it can really increase your level of belonging, of connecting with a special person. Now, if you're already in a relationship, it definitely means something is shifting there. So you're wrapping up something in the relationship that has that could have been a team for you, and that is no longer applicable. Now, for the better or for worse, it depends on your situation. Yes, for some Virgos who have decided to stop with the relationship, this can be an indication of, look, this relationship stops, and you're up for a new phase in your life, definitely. and that you have to share the resources together and so on. But if that is the case, it has a tendency to go very well with the sharing of the resources and whatnot because of this good energy in your 8th house. But all in all, a very new, fresh opportunity for doing relationships in a healthy way, in a healthier way than before. Librans, this Saturnial vibe is happening in your 5th house, so definitely some wrapping up when it comes to structuring and when it comes to understanding that the 5th house, where Saturn is, and the enjoyment that you have in life and how you can enjoy things, but with the healthy boundaries, basically, because that is what it's all about. Saturn in the 5th house, whether it has to do with the boundaries with your children, whether it has to do with a lover. So it is a wrapping up thing that you're doing. But remember, this Saturn and the moon, first in Aquarius, they're going to trine your energy. So normally it would go well, better with you than normally for other signs. But this new moon is happening in your 6th house, which shows like old habits, old routines, they're gone, or they're good to go. So make it those bad habits for sure that you're stopping so that new ones can come in. So it's definitely that for some of you, it's a new job. It can mean a new job if you've been dealing with, if that is your context, you've been dealing with doing your best and to create space for a new job, it's definitely that, or an ending of a job. And certainly what it's going to give you, this new way of doing some better routines and doing some taking care of yourself in a way of good habits, good routines, good discipline, good food, and so on. It's going to have a knock-on effect on your relationship. You're going to feel better, and your relationship are reflecting that. They're going to be enjoyable. I mean, you have Jupiter in your 7th house. You're going to have like this whole this whole bunch of planets. So even if you're single, this is definitely energy to go out there and to just have some fun. There could be a meaningful person crossing your path for sure with Jupiter there, and then the moon and Venus crossing it. It's a lovely time, the end of February and the beginning of March for you Librans. Definitely if you've got planets between 0 and 13, 14 degrees of Libra, you are really feeling that buoyant energy that someone else can bring to you, but of course is a reflection of what you have created inside of you. And for those of you who are already in a relationship, it could mean an upgrade, you know, getting an upgrade, finding pleasure again, and so on. Scorpios, this Saturnial vibe is happening in the basic core point of your astrology, Moon, Saturn there. So that all has to do with what can I do even more? You've been working on this for years with Saturn there in your 4th house, but to have some emotional well-being, to be my own parent, to distance myself maybe a little bit more from a parent that is, for instance, not for all of you Scorpios, but for instance, that is not so healthy for you, that is crossing your boundaries. And how do you do that with not hurting yourself? It is by not cutting the cords fully. For some of you, you will have to do that, but not cutting the cords fully, but just distancing yourself and focusing a little bit more on you and not taking on the karma of your parents. That is such a significant one here. So you've got like this last opportunity to do so, and so that you have this new moon in your 5th house, so that your heart starts to go open again. And I mean, Scorpios who open up their hearts, they are full of love. They are full of deep love, true love. So they could be starting a new romance. They could be starting a new love or ending an old one. Could also mean a new hobby that you want to do, or a new, if you already have children, there's something new in the life of your child happening. And you also feel that refreshment, or even a new child, you know, making a new child, conceiving and all that good stuff. So, and all that buoyant energy is then shifting into your 6th house, which is your day-to-day life. It's your day-to-day life. It's your work. You can expand it there. You can give it more meaning. You can have more fun with doing what you're doing. and also even with your routines that you do on a daily basis. Sagittarians, this last call of Saturn in your third house is all about how you have prepared yourself with healthier boundaries on a social level, definitely when it comes to your siblings and when it comes to your people in the neighborhood, like neighbors, people that you kind of see on a daily basis. So to have a better structure there, to have a better, with the tendency of, because it's in Aquarius, like we are alike, but in essence, but not in form. And that is something that is definitely also with the processes of your communication. There's a maturing up, you could say. And if you've worked on that, it could be that last piece, that last effort that you need to do to have a mature as possible conversation, but not too serious, of course, as well, because that's the pitfall of Saturn in the third house, is being, seeing everything in a dark way. So it depends on your character, how you have seen and how you have dealt with these energies the past 2 years or so, when Saturn was crossing this house. It could have mean as well that last push for a study that you have to do for a last exam, or that last, definitely if you have made the effort to learn something, now you can definitely reap the fruits of it for sure. And it's going to have a very good effect on your emotions. How weird is that? But it is, because this new moon is in your fourth house of your emotional well-being. So there is some old pattern that had to do with the way that you thought is shifting, and therefore there is a new beginning on the level of your emotions. Also with your parents, it could have been a new beginning, some new way of how you deal with each other, and that is way more comfortable for both of you. And literally also very on a mundane level, it could mean a move as well. So that you sold your house, you're going into a new house or apartment or whatever, it could be that as well. And even where the most joy that you're going to have is in your fifth house, because this Aries energy is so beautifully trining your energy in Sagittarius. And it's all about your enjoyment and opening up your heart and enjoying life and going to cafes, restaurants, or whatever it is that you like. But a lot of that buoyancy for sure. Moon, Venus, Jupiter, falling in love, very, very, you could say, fiery love, very romantic as well. The fifth house is very romantic, and Aries is super, super fiery. So there could be some Casanova vibes there, or definitely some vibes of, yes, I feel very creative. I feel beautiful. I feel from the inside, I feel very connected with myself. And therefore, you are really very an inspiration for others, and you're going to attract that. So if you are single, go out there. There could be some really, really good stuff happening for you. It's very meaningful in the long run as well, because it's Jupiter that's there. So if you're not single, have fun as well. Have fun as well. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that, with my Sagittarian rising that I share with you. Anyway, Capricorn, what is happening there? This moon, Saturn, is first happening in your second house of your money, of your resources, and of your self-worth. So it could be that last that you have to do to restructure your finances in a better way. It's like really hustling for the money, you could say, but that last effort before you have this new beginning. And that new beginning, the new moon is the second house, by the way, also has to do with your confidence. So it could be still that last hang on there, because of your circumstances, that your self-worth, it's a bit, it's a bit difficult to just show that you're very, very truthfully confident with Saturn in your second house. But this is going to shift very soon, as long as you have done the work, of course, to improve that and to do it yourself, to be self-sufficient, because that's what Saturn in the second house wants from you, to step up and to be responsible for what you're doing and what you're creating. And this new moon is happening in your third house, which is beautiful. It's like a new beginning when it comes to how you communicate to people, with more compassion, with more empathy because of the Pisces energy. But definitely also when you have a business of your own, this is a very good new start for like how you're going to do your PR. So maybe a new website and putting down an old one. And because you've been working so hard on your resources, this is a good PR energy for sure, in the very expansive sign of Pisces. And it could also mean a new start with siblings, with neighbors, because that's the third house. So definitely a new way of how you connect with those kind of people, people in the neighborhood, the people that you deal with on a daily level. Definitely there is some fresh energy available for you. And this good energy, it also has this exciting knock-on effect where Aries is in the fourth house, which is your emotional well-being. So that is very, very nice to hear, because that's your core. So it could be like you're doing something fun at home, or you're inviting people that you love at home, and also with relatives. With parents, there could be some reunion happening there, and it's going to be all fiery, dance and put the furniture away and put on some old music. Well, it doesn't have to be old music, but anyway, have some fun, basically, like a child. What did you love to do as a child? And you can do that with people that you love. Aquarians, this is, of course, this last call for you with Saturn in your first house, with really taking responsibility for the things that you did in the past, for the things that you're going to do now, to take that responsibility. And sometimes with a smile, because it's very easy when things are going well, but sometimes also like, I did something in the past I'm not so proud of, but I'm going to do it. To really be mature in that way. And instead of saying, but that was the fault of this person or that person, or whatever, or the society, or putting the finger on someone else. It of course sometimes it's not all your fault, but it's to put you out of the victim role and to get back into your role and your body and into yourself. It's so way more powerful of taking that responsibility. If you're going to do that, and if you've been doing that the last 2 years, there's definitely a new confidence boost that you're going to get. But that has to do with this new moon in your second house. So there could be this new way of how you see yourself, the confidence, but also in your money area. So there could be new beginnings when it comes to your money, how you're going to deal with that, and how you're going to structure that in the future. And all the good vibes and this good buoyant energy is in your third house. So you could be having some lovely times with siblings, with neighbors in the neighborhood, with the people that you talk to on a daily basis. The third house is also a very creative house when it comes to speaking and teaching and learning something new and being extremely enthusiastic about it, because it pushes you further into life with a lot of hope. And also, when you have your own business, that's a boost in your PR, so that you can reach a lot of people for sure. And last but not least, Pisces. So the wrapping up, the Saturn there in your 12th house is wrapping up, and is really saying to you, are you sure? This pattern, do you want to take it with you still? This pattern that is actually not good for you anymore, and that is actually beginning to be harmful for you. Are you sure that you're going to take it with you? Is it not better to release it? And when you're doing that, it's a new you. And that's what this new moon is all about. It's the new beginning for the Piscean. Of course, for those of you who have a birthday around that time, around the end of February, and for sure around the 19th, 20th, and 21st, you're going to have this in your solar return. So you will definitely have a new beginning in a lot of ways, because the first house is actually your life path. So sometimes people ask me, yeah, but in what kind of area? You have to see the whole chart then of what the houses that they rule, those planets. But in general, it's your whole life. It's like a whole new, fresh start. It's a reset that you're getting. So make use of it. And if you're doing that, you're going to feel good about yourself. The confidence of the self will grow because you have Jupiter there, your ruler, your ancient ruler, next in the second house, next to, very close to Chiron now, which is all about healing and understanding. And with all those good planets there, there's definitely something going on with your confidence. And for some of you, because you worked very hard on those releasing of the patterns, there's also some rewarding when it comes to finances. If you've worked hard on that to restructure that, for sure. This is this new moon for Pisces. I hope you're all gonna like it. It's definitely a very, very interesting one. And thank you so much for watching, and enjoy it to the fullest. Thank you. Bye-bye.